Morning, Christine Regan Lake here. Hope all is well. So today, again, we are continuing our discussion on the 18 schemas that humanity struggles with. We're getting close to the end. There's only a few more left, but I hope this has been valuable for you in terms of understanding some of these core beliefs. It's very, it's just fact to reality. This is what humanity struggles with, and they, typically always come from our childhood. So today's discussion is about emotional inhibition. So again, in one quick sentence, a schema is a core belief or global metaphor that you hold that kind of is the lens through which you view your entire life. It becomes a truism, even if that truism is anti-life and causes a lot of pain and insecurity, suffering, and frustration. So emotional inhibition, what is that? So emotional inhibition is when someone emotional body is very constricted. What that means is that they hold tight all their emotions inside. They are unable to express themselves emotionally. How does this happen? Why would someone become emotionally constricted? It happens when you grow up in an environment in which you are not allowed to express certain emotions. So what you might find, and this is very common among children of alcoholics, so if the child of an alcoholic becomes a parent, right, and then they create their family, if the child starts experiencing emotions such as sadness, depression, anxiety, or anger, things like that, typically the parent who is a child of an alcoholic tries to stop that child from feeling those emotions. And here's why. When that child is experiencing their organic emotions of upset, fear, anger, depression, sadness, sorrow, despair, whatever, it can trigger the pain and the trauma of the parent's childhood with, growing up in an alcoholic or violent environment, something like that. And so because now all of a sudden the parent is triggered and all of their stuff starts coming up, now they start to freak out, and so they will yell at the child and be like, I'm sure you've heard the phrase, I'll give you something to cry about, things like that. It's because they have to shut down the child because all of a sudden their stuff is getting triggered and they can't handle it. So that's it. So typically in this environment, a child will find that the only emotion they're allowed to experience in the household is kind of just like happiness, right? And nothing even too exuberance, nothing extreme levels of happiness, because people who, if a parent has constricted emotional inhibitions, then they don't like any extremes of joy or extremes of sadness or anger and things like that, because it's too out of control, right? When you're constricted, you're not on either end of those, right? Like you're really tight. So you're not going to go wildly crazy, upset, angry, lose control, or you're not going to go the other direction, which is like exhilarating, exuberated, joyful, bubbly, stuff like that. A constricted emotional person kind of lives in that middle gray zone of just kind of tight, controlled, never losing themselves. And the greatest tragedy of that is that the greatest moments in our life are felt in the emotional body, when you have unconditional love flooding through every single cell of your body, and that joy, and it's able to just seep into all the little, nooks and crannies, all the little places and spaces in your body and your being where you are literally flooded with it. When you're emotionally constricted, you can't do that. You can't experience that. So you end up living kind of this like numb like existence where you're kind of only half alive, right? Now, another component to this, is anger. Typically, people who are emotionally constricted have a very difficult time expressing anger. Anger can bring on feelings of like shame. And for that person who's emotionally constricted, the most important thing is staying in control. I can't lose my top. I can't get angry. I can't explode. That will bring on shame to me. It'll show I'm completely out of control, and I don't respect that, whatever. When meanwhile anger is a valid emotion, just like love, joy, passion, excitement, sorrow, whatever. Our emotions are all equally valid. The thing is, you just want to be able to learn to feel those feelings of anger and then communicate that anger, productively in a healthful manner, as opposed to just exploding on an innocent person that it really has nothing to do with. So emotional inhibition is it's an incredibly powerful dysfunction that really limits your ability to experience life at the deepest level. If you're emotionally inhibited, if you're emotionally numb, you can't feel those like passionate, juicy, alive moments. And that is one of the greatest tragedies. So if you know that you struggle with emotional inhibition, where it's very difficult for you to express yourself emotionally, put yourself out there, try to imagine the life that you would feel, what it would be like to experience the deepest joy, the most like full-bodied experience of unconditional love flooding through every single cell in your body. I can tell you, I used to be emotionally inhibited. I used to be constricted like that. And as I got into energy work and I started clearing my emotional body, clearing the pain body, to allow love to flow through every single cell of my body, it was the greatest gift of self-love I've ever experienced. It is an extraordinary feeling, and you are gypping yourself if you don't allow yourself to go there and feel that. As well as in terms of emotional constriction, can even represent itself in the bedroom. If you're afraid to lose control, sex and orgasmic highs and things like that, like that's all about release. And if you're constricted and controlled, then you are gypping yourself in your sexual fulfillment. Everything has consequences. Things aren't just isolated in a single little box. These things, like when you have an emotionally constricted body, your physical body becomes emotionally constricted, your spiritual sense becomes emotionally constricted. To live a life that is the juiciest, most vibrant, alive, succulent life that you want to be living, it's about opening up. It's about relaxing the physical body. It's about relaxing the emotional body. It's about allowing all of your emotions to flow at the deepest level, full throttle. Everything, whether it's anger or whether it's ecstasy, it doesn't matter. It's about playing the full orchestra of emotions that your emotional body and your spiritual body and your sexual body wants to express itself as. So if you know that you struggle with emotional inhibition, understand that you are gypping yourself. You are cutting off huge, beautiful experiences from your life that you deserve to experience. And part of being a spiritual being in a physical body is being able to experience those physical pleasures, those physical, the full-bodied physical experience of being on this earth in a physical body. So, if you feel that you tend to repress stuff, and you're frustrated, give yourself the gift of starting to open up, get connected to your being, maybe try to learn how to meditate, get connected to your emotional body, start opening it up and start allowing yourself to feel what you feel. Feel sad, feel sorrow, feel anger, feel joy, feel exhilaration, feel ecstasy, whatever, just allow yourself to organically feel everything that you feel. And then as you're able to then feel all of those things for yourself, now you can co-create an experience with another human being that goes to a level of depth and fulfillment that you have never been able to experience before when you have been so constricted. So I hope you found value in this. Emotional inhibition is a very detrimental, dysfunctional cycle to be in, because you are literally robbing yourself of the juiciest, most amazing, beautiful, succulent, loving, passionate, caring, joyful moments of your life. If you want a higher level of living, if you want a deeper, more meaningful, more fulfilling experience in this life, I highly encourage you to look at the wounds of your past and try to heal that and learn how to emotionally express yourself, because your feelings matter. You matter. What you want matters, and you are worthy of receiving every dream, every yearning that you have in your heart and your soul and your sexual being. So I hope you found value in that. Have a beautiful day, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks. Bye.